open shot. And taking to the rim. Oh, yes, and the foul.
This is LeBron James, 4-time MVP, 4-time champion, freak of nature, and one of the best players to ever touch a basketball. And this is Rasheed Wallace, 4-time All-Star, 1-time champion, and certified goon. But what's important to note is that during this time, this was before LeBron James won his MVPs. This is before he ever won his championship. This was a young player coming up showing amazing potential of what he could be. And while Rasheed wasn't done, these were some of his last years at this level of production, and he was on his way out. But why bring these two up now? See, a couple days ago, there was a clip released of Rasheed Wallace talking about LeBron James and Kevin Durant and how they fare in his era. And Rasheed Wallace has decided to say this.
A beast or soft? LeBron James.
In my era, he probably would have done good because with his physical stature, with him being a little bit bigger than a majority of the rest. So he probably would have held his own, but I don't think he would have been as successful as he is.
Now, Rasheed Wallace isn't the only NBA player that acts like he played in the golden era of basketball and nothing can ever top it. But it's stuff like this, especially when it comes to LeBron, where these guys can't give him his flowers, especially the people that he played against. Rasheed Wallace got drafted in 1996 and retired in 2013. He had a 10-year span where him and LeBron James played in the same league. And from 2004 to 2007, they had a span where they both played in the same All-Star games for 2 years. What era are we talking about here? If we're talking about the time where in the 2000 and 2001 season where you made your first 2 All-Star games where LeBron James wasn't in the league, then yeah, let's take a look at those years and see how different it is from the time LeBron James got into the league to when he started winning his MVPs. Now from 2000 to about 2008, 2009 when LeBron started winning his MVPs, the league didn't change that much. Play style wasn't that much different. The same stars were still dominating. The league pretty much played the same way. The point guard position didn't take the explosion of being the main scorers yet. The three-point era hasn't really come into the NBA at all, or at least not like it is now. So the game was pretty much played the same way. So to look if Rasheed Wallace's statements even have some validity to it, I decided to look at pace. Just to look to see if teams had the ball for more possessions, if LeBron had more time to, rack up his numbers, make himself look better during that time. And newsflash, it really didn't. Back in the 99-2000 season, in Rasheed Wallace's first All-Star appearance, the league pace was about 95.6. Teams were averaging about 95 possessions per game. And then right when LeBron came to the league, it was all the way down to 91. The game got a little slower, but not by that much to make a significant difference. And then in 2009, when LeBron started winning his MVPs, the league pace was back at 93.795. Basically around the same numbers, either the low to mid 90s. Very far off from today's numbers, where the average league pace is above 100. But it shows that during that time, the NBA really didn't get any faster and it wasn't even comparable to today's game, while LeBron was still dominating the league. But what makes this even worse is that during this time, LeBron James probably put up some of the greatest numbers of his career. Yes, the teams he was playing on was very much less talented. These are the only times in his career where LeBron James averaged over 30 points. In 05-06, he averaged 31.4, and then in 2007-2008, he averaged 30. And even in his earlier years, LeBron James was still top 5 in MVP voting since his 3rd year in the NBA. So I beg to ask the question, what era of basketball are we talking about here? Because you're mostly remembered for your time on the Pistons, and you've talked very highly about that team. So, how do you explain this? He pushed y'all to the brink in just his first year in the playoffs, and then after that, you guys never saw past him. So what about your era of basketball that would have made it so hard for LeBron James and Kevin Durant? A 7-foot guard with an elite handle and a mid-range jumper that you can't stop, and a 6'8" bulldozer with elite passing vision and just an amazing ability to finish at the rim. What about your era of basketball that made it that much harder for these guys to dominate the way they did? I seriously don't understand where this is coming from. It's always been a problem with a lot of you players, especially the 2000s players. When you go from Kevin Garnett to Rasheed Wallace to Shaquille O'Neal, they either have something to say about this generation of basketball or how their generation was superior. Rarely anything ever good, rarely anything ever positive. And if you don't want to listen to me, you can even listen to Gilbert Arenas, somebody who even was in the league before LeBron came in and played earlier in the time, and even he says it.
I'm starting to hate everyone in the 90s that played basketball, that whole group, because they just think they shit don't stink.
Right.
Like, you got, Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman, both 6'7", both weigh 210. Talking about they're going to stop somebody in today's game. Like,
Nah.
6'7", 210, like, you are a little guard in today's game. You guys are little guys. Like,
But that's
It seems like it's always a problem with them, and I don't think it's ever gonna stop. But what I do love is as basketball fans and as a community on NBA Twitter, the basketball community didn't let this slide, and they completely ripped this take completely apart. No matter where you turn, people are talking about it, and they made sure they let him hear it. Your era isn't the golden age of basketball. Whether you feel like it or not, the game's always going to evolve, and these players are going to get better. That's how it works. Younger players come up, see what you did, and then add on to that to make the league an even better place. Were there things in your era that made it very unique and very good to watch? Yes, but you can't act like this era of basketball is always going to be somewhere below yours or that you played in the golden age. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, the subscribe button. Takes 2 seconds. I'd love to have you guys back here. If you enjoy my content, you can go through. Probably if you enjoyed this video even, you can click on it. But with that being said, this FLB, that's my time, and I'm out.